why is it so important for us, specifically as teachers, coaches, mentors, and maybe even we can kind of lump that in with kind of just like people in general. Like, why is it so important for people to be transparent with those that they interact with?
Yeah, so I think number one, I think one of the most powerful things that I've learned through teaching is that students learn through feedback, right? And students crave feedback. I mean,
Mm,
I'll give you an example. I'm currently getting my master's at Southern New Hampshire University, and I submit assignments every third. Assignments are due on Thursday and Sunday,
yep.
and I submit the assignment, and then I'm I'm checking 3, 4 times a day. Did I get the grade back? Did I get the grade back? Did I get the
Right.
feedback? Right. And I'm craving that feedback. I want to know how I did. Right. I want to know where could I improve. I want to know, what my grade was. Um, so I'm no different, right, than a student. I'm no different than a player. But I think, um, it's important to be transparent because I I just think a because of what I talked about the feedback, but B I think it's important to as a teacher and a coach, it can't be kumbaya land all the time, right? It can't be. We're not teaching if we're just kind of the mindset of everything's perfect, right? Or we're just kind of sailing along without that creating that learning environment. So I think as a teacher, in order to get those breakthroughs, in order to search for those breakthroughs, I think you got to identify the problem, right, or identify the behavior that you want to change. Um, I think you have to continuously check for understanding, right? I think I use that all the time in class. I want to check what students know, and by continuously asking the right question. And then the third thing is if the students are not understanding or the players are not understanding the point that you're trying to drive home, how do you respond to error, right? How do you respond to error? How do you teach the mistake? And one thing I use all the time, and I stole this from John McVay, who's the head coach at Brooks, is he encourages his players to make new mistakes. Making mistakes, we're all going to make mistakes, right? But I think that whole power, I think the idea of making a new mistake and not making the same one over and over again is it is just a great way to frame it. Um, and at the end of the day, when a player or a student makes a new mistake, that's the exciting part of a teacher and a coach of now you get to correct it, right? And try to get that light bulb to go off in that student or that player's head, to better understand the material.
Yeah, that's and wow, so many great points there. And I'm actually glad you even brought up the making new mistakes because I actually after because we actually talked like last week just to kind of or yeah, I think it was about a week and a half ago, just to kind of catch up, see how the other person was doing. And I stole that from you guys, the make new mistakes. And it's cool because there's a lot more of that buy-in. And I think there's that understanding of then if you're continuously making the same mistake, right, there's actually no learning happening. Whereas if there are new mistakes being made, then there's some type of progression taking place within the context of learning. So that's actually something I just want to say I stole from you guys, but and I'm really glad that I did because it's working super well. So thank you for that. And it was interesting too because when you talked about the kumbaya and like life is beautiful all the time and everything's great, like that's not reality, right? And I totally agree with you there. And I think personally, where if we're not something that I believe in, like if we're not being as transparent as we can with whether it be students, whether it be players, whether it be people that we work with, people in our own lives, within our own relationships, if we're not being transparent with people, we're doing them a disservice, right? Because they might view something completely in a different way, which again happens due to the nature of perspective. But at the same token, if you don't at least say your piece in terms of your honest and transparent thoughts on whatever the matter is, they'll never come full circle in terms of maybe then reflecting, like, am I perhaps in the wrong?